Let's talk about green screen for a minute. Green screen was traditionally used in video work, both green screen and blue screen, as a simple way to extract someone, especially when there's movement involved. Now, there's something to be said for green screen for photography with a couple things in mind. The good part about green screen is if you use it, then you know this is the color you need to extract, and it can be a lot easier. The downside to green screen can be that depending on where you position the person, you can end up with fringes around them and more trouble than it's worth. Recently I worked on a project with Westcott and Photo Key software that's used for green screen, and this is an excerpt that shows you some tips on both setting up your green screen and your lighting, and that can make a huge difference in success.
In this video, we'll be looking at the basics of setting up your green screen and your lights to have better success in the green screen software. So first, let's talk about the green screen itself. One of the first things you want to make sure you do is have it nice and smooth. So I have the green screen on a background stand, and I've also tied the end so I can stretch it out a little bit. Also got weights in the corners, again, all with the goal of having as few wrinkles as possible, because we want to get really nice, consistent, smooth green in the background. The other thing that's important, of course, is our lights. Now, today I'm using Westcott TD6 Spider lights, which are constant lights, which are great for green screen because you can see the results. I can stand here and look and see, is there any shadow being cast? And if there is, as long as it's way off to the side, that's okay. What I want to avoid is a shadow right behind. So you want to make sure your lights aren't too far in front, because that will cast a shadow directly behind you. Think about the way the green screen software works. It's looking for this one shade of green. So if you have a dark shadow, that's a very different shade of green and it won't pick it up as well. So we want to make sure that we're doing two things with our lighting. One is making sure the subject is properly lit, but also not casting the shadow. So as long as you keep those two things in mind, smooth green screen and proper lighting, you'll have great success.
So here's a quick summary. Make sure your green screen itself is very smooth, especially in the key areas around the person. The outside edges are not so important. Secondly, make sure your lights are pointing mostly at your subject, not casting a shadow on the background. That's the most important thing, is not getting a big shadow. Oh, and one other thing, make sure your subject is far away from the background, as far away as possible actually, because then again, less chance of shadow and less chance of a bounce back, any kind of reflection off the background. Do those three things and you'll have a better chance of success. There is one advantage of green screen that's unique to using a green screen, and that's why I mention it for some people, and that is you can automate it in Photoshop, or at least it has the potential to get most of the work done for you, and that's only possible with green screen. So for example, if you were taking a whole series of portraits of a sports team and you wanted individual shots, you need to extract them all off that background, setting it up properly and then using an action that I'll show you, you have the potential to do most of the work. So we'll see that in one of our lessons here on green screen.